So we'd like to start with the next session. That is the session 3 of the LDP. And we have very important topics like building up your practices and how to build an institution and different the successful models like the ASG model, the Netradama model and the IQ model. So for that I would request Dr. Debashish sir to please welcome and please be the chairperson also and also on the mic, the dual role. And I request Dr. Ajay Sharma sir to please come over to the dais. Dr. Arun Singhvi is here? Yeah. Please come, sir. So we have the giant and towering personalities here, and along with that I request Dr. Chitra Ramamurthy madam also to please join. Please come madam, you are everywhere. You are omnipresent. Please come. Please come madam. So Dr. KP Kudlu will be joining us very soon. So I think Dr. Debashish sir needs no introduction. He has built an institution, turned into an organization, into the success. And most important I learned from him is how he makes these cost-effective models. So once we had been to see the Optos, which is a very costly, expensive machine working for more than 1 crore, but he is offering it at 500 rupees, sir. 300 rupees. Can you imagine that? So that is how he has turned, how to use these big equipments and turn them into a low cost so that most of the patients can afford that. So over to Dr. Debashish sir, please. I'll be speaking on the building institution in his home ground in Kolkata, the Disha model.
Yeah, like we've been labeled as low cost models. So institution is a very comprehensive word for a lot of things, a hospital, a training, teaching, research. But obviously we are either looking into a practice, a hospital, maybe a chain of hospitals, and these are other parts which can be integrated into an institution, into a hospital, which would be a part of the hospital. Like you train your own staff, train your own doctors, but if you are being a teaching institute, that is a costly proposition because cost, everything costs and that matters, so we need to focus on that. Essentially, we first need to understand why. Why is what we are doing, whether it's a practice or whatever, why are we doing it? I think essentially most of us would be looking at this curve of scalability, of growth, propagation, and eventually in the last session I was the inheritance or perpetuity. So even after an individual, an organization or an institution continues. So how do we begin? I think there are 2 ways. If you are a little altruist about it, it could be sacrifice, but then your followers you expect priests to follow, which is a difficult proposition. You don't get priests very often. But if you are taking risks, then it is a realistic proposition, it is a strategic proposition, and there you would be other people, other affiliations also taking risks. Now, grossly I'll come to that slide where, you see the vast majority of India can barely afford private care. So for that welfare, where welfare is another wing, and the other group is aspirations. Now, that is the people who can afford to pay. Now, in this system, you can actually break it up into whether you want to give a very personalized, individualized, customized care, which is an art, or whether you have to give a generalized, good quality care, which can be held with such systems and processes. So the second thing is, low cost is low quality. This is a very common perception, but people who have traveled, and most of you must have because it covers 53% of our airline, so you must have traveled Indigo. So they, I think, break this perception of being low cost. There'll be 500 rupee less, at least the next airline, but they're top quality. It is not like, Simply Fly, where people used to, I'm not naming the company, but would try to take away the tag, because that really appeared cheap. So there's a difference between being cheap and being cost effective, because when the entire organization focuses on cost, then there is an efficiency around cost, there is a transparency around cost, there's a purpose around cost. So I would say cost is the first step to quality, because if people around you cannot afford, it doesn't exist. So quality, again, when you get the numbers, they do like Srinivas told, it does magic to your it does magic to your quality. And there are frills. In every technology, there are frills. So as technocrats, we must be efficient enough to, see the frills out and focus on the technology where anybody almost can do it for everybody. And suppose, you give a 300 rupee Optos, and probably that patient had a 2,000 rupee experience somewhere. I mean, this fair price creates an immediate faith. I mean, this institution is superb here. So you get more following, more economies of scale. And economies of scale, perhaps, is the greatest churner of everything. The compliance and the follow-ups and the people coming in to the brand, this is the biggest thing. So, of course, there are lean and clean things, like a very transparent financial system. I think from day one, you must have this, and also record every transaction and every MRD. I mean, that must be this, and go ad hoc, step by step, brick by brick. Now, infrastructure, if you're not very sure, you can go by rent or even revenue sharing. By revenue sharing, I mean the promoter might want be to a part of your business. So you say, okay, you give me the place, I'll give you 7% of the top line. So these kind of revenue sharings can also occur. And please see that, it's expandable. The upper floor is available, something like that, visible, because you don't need eye care every day, but people should see whenever that should be, in their memory. And anytime they have a problem, they can well come there. And it should be accessible closer to the bus stand, railway station, something like that. And equipments can to reduce initial capex, you can put it on hire, which you all know. And sleeping costs, this is the main thing. And this is where economies of scale and early startups help you. And say in a bigger organization, sleeping costs can be minimized. Like in Aravind Eye Care system, I have seen, the entire crowd follows from the registration, then to the consultants, then to the optical store or to the investigation, but they come at the same time. But if they come over the day, it can be disbursed. But it's a culture of an organization. So, and staff multitasking. Like we encourage multitasking in our staff by saying that, see, if you teach your job to the other guy, because we say that if you are wanting a leave, then please say who's going to work for you, an unplanned leave. So that is how multitasking really helps. If the front desk can actually go to the OT and assist, there's nothing like it. So, and of course, the other cost optimizations like doctors on a salary with incentives, and then brands get more because, when people become 45 and they have a name for themselves, that is when they try to leave the organization. So if you pay them more than the newcomers for every surgery, probably they'll stay back because we don't give ESOPs. The people who's on stage who consider ESOPs. And and everybody tries to justify their remuneration. And the one message that can well be given that, be on the patient side. Don't try to, work for the hospital or see how much revenue you can bring to the hospital. It will automatically follow. Another thing about low cost is that, it is very surprising that in some hospitals I find the price tags so high that I don't know how the employees actually treat their parents or their family. Because at least that must be an objective. If I have created an institution, my staff can at least treat themselves with respect. And of course, everybody is speaking about these things. So essentially, we must understand that good things are yet a lot to come. And we have 20 years and 20 very vital years. And if we can really hit the block, we can really take a flight. But let's see how we go. And so, India has everything. It has a Singapore with the population, with the GDP. It has a Poland. It has a Mexico. It has a Philippines. It has a Pakistan. And it has an entire sub-Saharan Africa. This is what I was talking about, that these people probably don't have anything but to do but welfare. And if you compare it with the lens consumptions from the industry, it actually substantiates what the startups have worked up. The upper one is something that I'm giving you from a startup group study. So this is the difference. Like you see how different Delhi is from Maharashtra and from West Bengal and to the base or even Bihar. So please adjust yourself to the low economy of the geography that you are in over the next 4 or 5 days. Now again, it's very interesting to compare what would the average ticket size of cataract surgery be. Like it would be about 1.5 times. Now what actually is the difference of the per capita per month? We worked it up with even Aravind Eye Care System. Now, obviously, you may find your one to be higher, but this is where you need to respect. And so this is the story that I was saying, Srinivas was saying. But if you have 500 patients in the OP, you definitely get 10% myopia, so 50 per day. So that's 300 rupees and 38 lakhs a year. So in 2 years, your recovery is done. The rest of it is surplus. We have 7 installations of them because 7 of our hospitals see more than 500 patients a day. So we have these wonderful theaters again, and it works in the same economies of scale. And it costs us 1,000 rupee per surgery because you do 2,500 surgeries a year. And to do 2,500 surgeries, you need to see 25,000 patients a year, or maybe even more. 7% is the surgical intervention ratio. Now about the scaling up area, there's some fundamental formulas for a average economy and a low risk model. So don't start a surgery center if you are below 30 and your practice isn't growing that much. So, these are the various steps of growth. From here, you can choose to divert it to 50 patients. You can have a second hospital. I just have 2 slides. Is it okay? So, again, OPD, remember, is an area where you actually do a lot of cross-subsidization. And but they are the first barrier to entry, so you might consider cross-subsidization. Financials should be clear to you. So you can have a click, because I can't explain you this slide. And see, OCT, you can give it at 300 rupees. We give it at 300 rupees because all our centers see more than 100 patients a day. So, please follow this number, the 10. So for every 10 patients, there is one OCT. And when you give it at 300 rupees, the doctors are probably more inclined to see the macula optically, by optical coherence rather than by a 90D. So, ठीक है, इसका phobia dull है. Let us have an OCT. So, and again, IPD costs, don't be tempted, as technocrats, to have a surgery center quickly. Until you are seeing, the cost of surgery, you probably easily get, even in the bigger cities, you get a center, surgery center for 6,000 to 8,000 rupees, all inclusive. But that works for that center, but won't work for you unless you do 100 patients a day. So again, at the end of it, through internal accruals, I asked, we had some money, so we are starting this hospital very close by, 600 bedded. It's a big project. If you have time, please go and visit that. We'll be very happy. It's under construction. We should be done by the end of this year. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was a wonderful talk. Any questions? Quickly, please. Sir, if no question, I have a question for you. Sir, when you were speaking about the economies of the scale, now we are seeing that, of course, Disha has grown into multiple horizontal branches, and now we are speaking of economies of scope, and now we see that the multi-speciality hospital is also coming up.
Yeah.
So it's just for all the LDPNs here, it's just like Amazon, how it started with a bookstore, and now you see whatever is possible is available in the Amazon. So it's just
there were a lot of backward integrations. Like a certain number of patients can justify a spectacle shop within your practice premises. If you grow further, you can probably include a pharmacy. Still bigger, even at our scale or at Eye Foundation or at ASG scales, they can definitely support an intraocular lens company. So these are backward integration of things which can carry forward. And obviously the multi-speciality was a kind of a dream, because everybody, including our patients, they said, they miss this low cost, fair priced quality area in multi-speciality. So because the staff also wanted it, the doctors also wanted it, and
would you
the
be
patients
able to,
also wanted it.
Would you be able to do it in the multi-speciality? Here you are appointing your own doctors. Multi-speciality, you will have to bring in doctors. They would want a different arrangement, because you're already spoiled by that, no?
I'm boiling my head on this here. We'll
But
work a way out.
Yeah. But the one thing we need to remember, the HR most commonly remains the same. So the most of the staffs who are working
See,
there,
multi-speciality is also multi-choice.
Yeah.
We did not go into the details, but grossly speaking, what we are focused on, nursing, the intensive care, and the neonatal and pediatric care. So that team we are recruiting. That we can bear. The rest of it is visiting. So the patients will come and they will pay for their doctors.
I think we'll take more questions. Parth, last question.
Yeah, sir, it was a wonderful presentation. I have just one question. Like, as you have already told, like if you have 30 patients, if you have 50 patients or 100 patients, different pricing. Like a new person who has just started the practice, he's not having that much of the patient flow. He's increasing the price. His experience is less, his prices are higher. So how he will stand in the market against you?
You have time. A doctor who has less patient has time. So give time. Your patients will be more impressed till you hit the figure of 30. See, Rome was not built in a day. Everybody has something in excess of the other. Our doctors are not as personal as you think they are. You are.
Yes, very true, sir. But just
So-
one thing, like what we have started in the Gujarat.
No,
like
this
we
I
have-
said, see, this 30 startup for a surgery center is for an average economy where, the per capita is moving around, say, 30,000 a month, something like that. But in Delhi, 5 patients, 8 patients are good enough because they pay twice, thrice as much. Yeah.
Very true, sir. But just one thing, like what we have started in Gujarat, we have started capping some of the prices. So even trust hospitals or some private hospitals, they can't go below that prices. So at least newcomers who are just coming to the practice, they can also survive and they can also be in the game.
See, you cannot expect that, somebody will, it's not undercutting. It's like, you've seen there are 50% of the Indian population cannot afford any practice.
Yeah.
So, if you criticize Disha in that point of view, I would say, no, I'm saying, it is an allegation to us that we probably undercut. See, you are instilling inspiration into a big subset of the population who actually would never come under the private eye care space.
Yes.
So that is the major point rather than you feeling the competition. Now you feeling the competition wherever you are, you feel the competition in the city. Go to the next town that is not there. You can spend 2 hours on travel.
So I
Stating
think
facts
Dr.
on the ground.
Debashish needs a big clap for the very wonderful achievement he has done in his lifetime.
Thank you, Debashish sir, for this wonderful talk. Before Dr. Kudlu connects it there, I request Dr. Arun Singhvi sir. So he'll be speaking on the model ASG. I did not tell what is ASG. Everybody in India knows. Even the child also knows what is ASG now. And the Vasan being taken over by ASG. Now even the small kids also, the neonates also, I think should start knowing what is ASG. So he'll be speaking on the ASG model via how he came up through the AIMS education and then how did he go through. So he's the All India Achievers Award in 2010 and the Scaris Young Entrepreneur Award in 2022. So I asked him, do you have a presentation, sir? So he said, no, I'm going to focus all the people. And my words itself is like a presentation.
No.
And over to Dr. Singhvi, sir, please.
I know. So, I'm not used to presentations. It's with Debashish sir, I would have, presented few times, but sir knows I have never brought any presentation. I can't talk and see here and talk. That's very difficult for me. See, I can tell you the way sir has grown Disha, there can't be a better model than that. And we being in similar geography sometimes have felt what you were trying to tell about Gujarat, but every organization has a different DNA. Every person has a different niche or craving for creating something. And when we were studying at AIMS, me and Dr. Shilpi, when we started from there, and we could see patients training from all over North India, from Bihar, from UP, from Jharkhand, from Punjab, Haryana, Jammu Kashmir, part of Rajasthan, part of MP. So what we saw there was a stark difference in the quality. I have been from Jodhpur, so we could see the quality of eye care being delivered there and the difference we saw at All India Institute. And that's where we thought this is a problem, that eye care is not standardized, at least in tier 2 cities from where we belong. And that's how it started. We thought, okay, we'll go to our place and start a practice. We had never thought of, we'll grow this chain, etc. To begin with, we had not thought that. We started our practice because we were 2 people. There was not enough work to do for 2 people to start with. So we thought, okay, let's start a practice at the other end of the city. Can we, start at least an OPD center there? And then slowly in 2 years' time, the practice picked up. We thought, okay, can we do a cataract center at a nearby place where we would go once a week and an optometrist can take care of the refractive part, at least for the rest of the week. And whenever we go, we can see the surgical patients or the patients which required some attention. This is 2005 we started. I'm talking about 2008, 2010. And then we thought, okay, there are 2 ways to grow up now. Do we start institutionalizing this practice at the place where we are? Or do we start opening few more centers horizontally? Because we saw, the kind of response we got at Jodhpur, we felt, this can be replicated elsewhere, at least in Rajasthan. So, I would say we debated a lot. We felt, we can do both, but we took a conscious choice of going to all the cities, and it was very clear in our mind, going to tier 2 cities, not entering any metro, because we felt their quality is as good as we can give. Let's go to the tier 2 cities of Rajasthan. That's how, why I'm trying to tell you these things is, this is how a model is created. The vision remains the same. The vision will never change. The model will get tweaked, the model will get changed over a period of time. But the vision at that time when we stated, and that remains at every center boldly written, is any patient who walks in the ASG center has to be treated with the similar top-notch quality, irrespective of his knowledge about the disease, irrespective of his financial status, irrespective about his connects in the society, irrespective about the knowledge about the organization. It's our duty to refer it to a subspecialist if required. This is our duty, not the patient's duty, where he comes with the doctor's name. He should come, can brand speak for itself to take care of the patient? That's what the vision was, which still remains and which will remain. But the model keeps on tweaking, as I say. So when we thought of starting somewhere else, it was 250 kilometers from Jodhpur, we thought, okay, can we actually do it without ourselves going there? Otherwise, that's a limitation. So then it came, why I was given this topic is how the AIMS factor came into this model. Because we were from that institute, we thought, how can we standardize quality? Where do we have connects? How do we know which are the doctors which can deliver similar quality care? So that's how we started getting in our youngsters and started creating a team around it. And then that takes time. That creating a team is why you can expand. If you can create a team which has a similar vision, which runs after the culture more than the numbers, which runs after respecting the uniqueness of each other and still work together, fight but still work together, that's how you create a team. That took almost 8-10 years, I would say, where a team was created of 8-10 people who can fight with each other, who can be with you, still argue, but continue the work, what the organization or the mission is. And this is how we kept growing. The investors came, the money came. This is all, I feel, the easier stuff nowadays. And maybe I would say the seniors in ophthalmology, like Dr. Mahipal, like what Vasan did, like what Maxivision did, like Dr. Agrawal did, they had created a space where investors were liking this place of ophthalmology. They invested, we executed, and we executed in all the areas where we felt there was a dearth of requirement of quality services. And then when you pass on with 14, 15 years of staying together, we felt, we can now start thinking of partnering with people in the areas where we are not there. And that's how we thought of splitting our teams. We said, okay, you run the organic part, I'll run the M&A part. And then while we were doing this, the big opportunity, I would say, of Vasan came down. And when Vasan came, we were like, the first time it came, we were not ready. So we didn't even bid. The second time it came, we had done all diligences, we had done all the operational diligences by our own team. Didn't take help of anybody. We went ourselves, stayed down south for 60 odd days, went to every centers, found the gap, understood. When they came back, and why the decisions become easy, when I finally asked them when they came back, I mean, do you think this is an opportunity, or do you feel it's going to trouble us more? And I mean, do we try this out, or even start thinking of bidding for it, because it's an NCLT process? So it came down to people saying, if not us, then who? And if not now, then when? And this is the answer of the team which came to us and told us. And that gives you a confidence that yes, we can try this out. So frankly speaking, when we went down south, when finally we got Vasan after a year or so of the NCLT process, it was in much worse shape than what we had expected. We thought to get the product right first. It took 6-8 months, starting from scratch. The landlords, to the IT systems, to medical equipments upgrade, to infrastructure repairs, to getting the supply chain right, Vasan being blacklisted by the government empanelments, TPAs were not there. So what the conceptualization was, the doctors had lost faith in Vasan. The investors had lost faith in Vasan. The vendors had lost faith in Vasan. But did the patients lose faith in Vasan? And that's what we found differently. When we went to every center to find the operational part of it, we found there are many wrong things going on there. But having said that, patients are still pouring in. And that's where it made a lot of sense for us to get everything right. When I say this, it's 1 year exactly from when we had entered Vasan. A lot of hard work has gone into it. And I mean, I know this is a leadership development program and everything about ophthalmology. But I feel proud of the team that the organization, which was in deep troubles, has turned profitable. And we are taking care of more than 6,000 patients a day again at Vasan. After having closed few centers, we took a conscious call to wrap up few centers. But it has started, and we haven't started marketing as of yet. Few sales activities have gone in. We'll start big bang marketing now. So what I want to impress on with this is opportunities will keep on coming. There are few models which are still developing, futuristic model, the omni-channel model, the standardization of practices at the district level. These are things which will keep on coming, and which we will have to, embrace the change. But in a nutshell, and I have been repeating this whenever I have spoken, it's all about team. If you can create a team of dedicated people who like to work for something where they feel engaged and they don't have to get up and say, okay, again I have to go for work. It's their ownership work. Then you can expand, and the whole world is the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Though there was no PPT presentation, but definitely you gave in a lot of concepts about it. Before Dr. Kudlu says any question, quickly.
Yeah, of course. Let me let everybody congratulate Dr. Arun Singhvi. Please understand, he has taken a drowning ship, Vasan, right? And a doctor doing it. I think nothing more can be more entrepreneur than what he has done. And he's turned the tide, he says. And just imagine, those centers, there were a few Vasans here also. Some centers, the building owner gets 2 crores rent. That's not settled in NCLT. Now, the center is in the name of Vasan. Arun and his team cannot enter. There are centers which are run by doctors, centers which are run by optometrists. They will come, case basis, they'll give commission, whatever, all kinds of things are happening. He's handling all of this. So after the session, do talk to him. I have a lot to talk to him. And please understand he is a super entrepreneur. Thank you.
Yes, please. Quickly.
Dr. Shangvi, it was really nice to hear you out. So I have one quick question. So when you said during the team building, 10 people came along. So were they your friends, or how did you manage to convince them with the idea? Second thing, were they having any stakes in the business, or they were independent of it and were paid in salary basis?
Sure. So there's one saying, if money can solve something for you, you are at a problem. Because there's no end to it. So whenever somebody comes along with you, it has to be some cause. It has to be for some cause. They have to feel excited about that cause. I mean, everybody who came along was from different geography. And what happened was that at All India Institute, everybody comes in, gives exam, he's from different geography, nobody wants to. The trend was either stay in metros or go abroad. I'm talking of 2005. That was the trend. So we felt, why can't we go to our home cities or at least home states in the bigger cities? And that's where everybody liked that idea. There was something for it, and when you start, and they all came down to Jodhpur to see the kind of response we were getting, the kind of professional satisfaction when you get, and nowadays things have changed, I agree to that. But, at that time, tier 2 city, today also, if somebody wants to go to a tier 3 city, it's similar. It's absolutely same. If somebody can go and start a practice in a district level, he'll be humongously successful. But is the infrastructure or the lifestyle still, supports the daily living for your family and your spouse? That's the difficulty India is facing right now. Once that gets solved, everything will be solved. But having said that, the cause was there. Everybody loved the cause that can we standardize the eye care quality at least.
Wonderful talks by both of you. My question is to Dr. Bhattacharya sir and all the panelists. Usually the psych is, if it's low cost, people, as you also stated, equates it to low quality. And if it is high cost, then it's expensive for so many people that you can't cater half of the population. Is there any model where you can cater both the classes without being labeled as, on either side?
No, see,
Or was it possible in those days where you started and you feel there is difference, and in today's era, how that can be
see,
achieved?
you have to take a risk. One is you have to have a very accurate projection of your cost. Now, then you settle your price. You don't have to look at somebody else's practice or some nearing hospital or a competition's charges and then price yourself. Pricing is independent of your costs, but you have to see that your costs do well. And to do that, you have to remove the frills, you have to be lean, and to cut those extra things. And obviously, there is a risk. If you price it lower, what can happen? You can raise your prices, but you can't lower your prices, can you? So essentially, you want to take a risk on that, it will fill up, because what surprises people is the cost if you are giving good quality. If you are giving a good price for your quality, that is see the big bazaar phenomenon, anything. Everything, that India is very cost sensitive, and especially in that bracket. And please understand that the major change, all this $5 trillion, $10 trillion economy, whatever is going to happen, see, Arun is talking about the tier 2, tier 3 cities. So you must understand where the focus of the growth in India is. So essentially Singapore, we can have another Singapore, but that doesn't change the top bracket. There are people there already. So if for the young people, I would say, it is where he works, where we work almost in the same space, where even M.M. Joshi works, the same space. So try to learn more about reducing costs.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I think we'll hear from Dr. Arun and Dr. Sharma sir and also from Dr. Chitra madam little later. I request now our close friend Dr. Krishna Prasad Kudlu, editor proceedings of AIOS, to please speak on how to build your practice from the ground level.
Yeah, thank you, Srinivas. I thank the whole ARC committee for this opportunity. Supposed to talk first, but due to the GC meeting, I have to be there in that meeting. So I'm talking about something initially after the corporate practice. Again, I'm going back to those who can start their practice by their own. So I'll be talking something called building your practice ground up. So no financial disclosure. So it's always there, starting and building a practice, which is, I can see that it is, which is second to none. Probably I feel that it's the most gratifying moment which can be experienced when one builds something on his own, not when it is given on a platter. That is something totally different feeling. Definitely you will have the downside is to doing is always, which is overshadowed by the little successful moments day by day. So starting a practice, there are two ways. You start small or go big. Once again, it depends upon one's financial abilities. But I always feel that you start small, then go big. That really makes some sense. So what should be the brighter side? Always, when you start yourself, always you'll be boss of that place. It is the joy of being recognized, one who giving them the patient vision. Every day, you'll have that excitement in your practice also. In spite of whatever thing, you'll be noticing the growth from the first day onwards with a better remuneration. So, process of starting from scratch, I think choose a location, whether to start in metropolitan city or tier 2 city, then where to start in that particular place, whether it is in a very important place or little bit in the peripheral area. Go for rent or own place, again depending upon your financial abilities. But I always feel that if you are starting initially also, you should have a area around 3,000 square feet, which is the best. And believe that I've seen a lot of clinics, they take 2,000 to 3,000 square feet without doing any interior or decoration. They are not gone to a different level. So when I started, actually, I thought about whether to go for urban or semi-urban. So always my hat is towards the semi-urban areas. So again, I'm insisting here, in-house marketing is very, very important. You need to have a very good reception and you need to have a very good staff when you're starting with that. Of course, I believe to start with the operation theater in-house. Of course, lot of people will come and approach you that I want to develop your opticals and all, but being ophthalmologist, my word always say that it is so easy to maintain opticals. If you put at least of your 15 days of your time into that, being ophthalmologist, we should start our own optical. Never ever I thought of thinking of giving any other people who can run the optical. Because we know that optical business is going to be the breadwinner for all of us. And always you should announce yourself that you are doing the best of the best service in that place. Of course, again, start with a very good investment. Sometimes it may stretch your budget too. Then you should identify in that place who can really help to build your practice also. Some of my friends always have an alternate practice position because they join a government service half a day, then come to a private practice. It's not a bad option. Definitely it is going to help you to build up your practice. Because someone working for government service always helps to build a mass appeal also. Of course, doing camps, free social service definitely give you a good image too. What should be your aim? To grow and practice should be the only ambition. So what should be minimum to start? When I started with initially with the chair unit, with the slit lamp, ARK, basic phaco machine, operating microscope. You can try to add facility as you go on. Initially, there were around 20 years before, what I felt that in the second step, I added this retinal lasers and OCT. Now you can even have on the initial step. So coming to the money management, always initially you should opt for a company which can agree for a staggered payment. Because some companies come with after 2 years, 3 years, you pay us the money every month, 10,000, 20,000. always you should opt such companies. If you think that, okay, you can do per month around 10 to 15 surgeries, it's not a bad option to even think about the bundling option. But one important thing when you talk with the company, always you should bargain hard. Always there is a scope of reduction, because they try to convince that this is the best price they are giving, but you have to bargain hard with the company. Always I believe that try to invest in the very good equipment. You can have a compromise on some and make up it with the other equipment. So what it compromise? You can compromise on slit lamp, chair unit, green laser and ag laser. But when you have got a good quality, especially lateral keratometer, OCT, phaco machine, microscope, I personally feel that issued from the good brand only. But nowadays, it's not a bad idea to have a refurbished equipment, because definitely it's going to help you. Once you reach some level, then you can have the new one machine. But definitely, everybody should think about this refurbished equipment. So always in the first year, always use media to advantage. Whenever you go for some of the camps, always you should use that when you put it in the media, definitely it's going to help to build up your practice. When I started, I met almost every practitioner in the city. Even if you think that if he is your enemy also, you have to meet everybody. Always, I also felt even meeting, nothing wrong in meeting local opticians and even pharmacists also. And even I feel that to have a public relation officer, PRO, to meet regularly like a pharma people. Once you reach that level, second year, always I felt that increase your marketing budget, especially on the print media. And you can have a PROs to do your active field marketing too. And always we insisted on give more thrust on the surgical counseling. So once you reach around 100 cataract person, then 100 cataracts per month, I always felt that that time you should invest on the machineries. You need to have a very good optical biometer, you need to have a very good OCT, you need to have a very good microscope and better phaco machine. And always this is the time, always you should try to rope for another consultant with you. Always when you're taking a consultant, better I always felt that he should be, you are as a partner, something called a salaried partnership. So always better if the partner practices a different subspecialty, it really makes sense. Always once you reach that level, I think always I felt that you should build your practice into an institution. Always to build an institution, always you need to have a proper team with you. Start with then having a junior ophthalmologist who can work with you, share all the possible work that can be done by any other than you. So then you can build the specialty clinic by appointing a specialty consultant. Once you reach around 200 surgeries per month, always expand, try to get your own building. You can complete with all the subspecialty. Investment, at least 10% budget in your market. Always, again, I am insisting that in-house marketing should be always priority. If you see a good response, this is the best time to you have a laser refractive surgery practice. So, you know that to maintain this equipment is much expensive, but I could able to be part of one of the refractive meet in last week in Narayan Netral. At least I could able to see companies are telling at least 50 plus doctors in India now investing on the laser refractive surgery, which is a very good news, and there is definitely a revenue spinner once you got a 200 plus cataract with you. Once you got, always get this kind of practice, always better to build a team also. Make your colleagues and as your partners. I always thought about that. And the specialty consultant should be always given a perk to have a improve in the commitment. Always I treat all our doctors like a colleagues, not as my employees. I believe that good player can win a match, but you can need a good team to win a championship. So developing a subspecialty practice, of course, easier in metros than tier 2 cities. You will get a quality consultant, both clinical skills and personality. Try to involve them as a partners. Of course, I always feel that one of the partners should be always a retina specialist. Doing camps, again, I feel that it never hurt your practice. Camps will definitely help in increase your patient base and build an image in the community. So, making a good brands of equipment and consumable available, always that helps in making the hospital being recognized, one of the giving quality service to the patient. Then once you reach that level, then you can think about spread across your places to the different places, different city, providing a quality eye care to the people, and that also help you as a feeder to your main center. Of course, you can still have a spread out center nearby with the doctor who is working there as your partners. That really helps to build your brand, and you can go for a wider reach. Of course, there are problems are there. Sometimes it may cause more stressful. Sometimes you need to make this accounting very streamlined also. You need to have more doctors. Sometimes you may think that you may have no time for yourself, family and leisure, but again, this is all up to your dream that if you want to reach that goal. Again, I thank ERC committee for this opportunity. In the end, I want to say no risk, no reward. The biggest risk is not taking any risk in a world that is challenging quickly. The only strategy that is guaranteed to fail is not taking the risk. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that elegant presentation. Any questions from the audience? So, Dr. Kudlu, sir, now you are telling that you are trying to build up your own practice and try to have your own consultants. So now the concept is having your homegrown consultants, like rearing your own fellows, PGs, and then make them into the consultants, or the another new technology which is used in this corporate world is called as hire to fire. Just hire them, and then when you don't want, you fire them. That's what is written in most of these case studies. So you have started your educational this thing also in your courses. So how do you retain them?
Actually, most of my partners are those who are fellows. One of my partner is here only, Dr. Vikram Jain, who is my senior partner. So basically, we ourselves trained our fellows how to become the consultants. Then they'll be in a frame of mind after the end of their 1.5 years of their fellowship, they'll become our partners. Sometimes if they're having money problem, I try to sponsor them. I tell them that you give me money, after some time, they agree. But once they stick on to them, normally we never promote the brand itself. We always promote the doctors in that particular center, make sure that they'll have full job satisfaction.
Yes, I think that's a brilliant way of doing things. Making your own homegrown talent evolve, and hire and fire. I don't think your colleagues and seniors and whoever they see, they're all the time watching you. So I think it's very, very important that we are conscious that the minute we give some instability to any of our junior most employee also, even the senior most will think of whether to stay with you or move on. So I think your Kudlu's viewpoints are very right.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
talk,
you, madam.
Kudlu.
Thank you, Dr. Kudlu, sir. Now coming to the next talk is by Dr. Ajay Sharma, sir, building an institution and model and IQ level. He's the founder and chairman of the IQ Super Specialty Eye Hospital. Now it has spread out into various branches. He initially started at the 100-bed Sheetla Hospital in Gurgaon, and they have received the best healthcare company in the 2017, 18 and 19, and they will participate in the World Brand Summit, the most promising brand of Asia. So we are proud to have you as our speaker here, sir, today, Dr. Ajay Sharma, sir. And before you start, I think Dr. Kudlu touched a very important point. And Dr. Arun, sir, I'd just like to ask, now he is telling me that I don't brand my institution, I brand my doctors.
Yes.
But there is a different context of view where few hospitals would not like to brand their doctors but brand their own institution. We'll come to that discussion little later,
Yes.
sir. Please go ahead with the presentation.
So,
We have his
Can you
presentation.
presentation?
so good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, AIOS, and thank you, ARC, for giving me the opportunity to be here. We have heard various models out here of business models, a single specialty, and we have Dr. Arun here, and we have Disha model here, and many more what we all know about. So I'll talk about IQ. You know, unlike Dr. Arun, I started IQ after I was a successful practitioner. I practice I was doing and doing well, definitely. Now, the initial question was why do it alone or choose the right partner, choosing the right model, how to scale up, where to get funds from. Now, this is when you start thinking about a thing which you want to do, want to go into a corporate model, making many centers. then you need to have answer to all these questions. Now, when we started, our thought came was that I found a right partner, business partner, as Rajat, who is a MBA from Ahmedabad, and he was heading Bosch & Lomb. So for me, the thing was, I can handle a clinical vertical. I need someone who can manage the operations and the management. So finding the right partner, I got it there. We thought of giving back to the society and going to tier 3 cities. Now again, when we thought about that, tier 3 cities, in between we changed our model where we started going to tier 2 cities. Tier 3 cities, we had a bit of problems later on, and it was born in 2005. But it took 2 years to brainstorm it and finally come to making a model. And the last point is it born out of fear was why? Because I had a multi-specialty 100-bedded hospital along with the eye center, and in Gurgaon, you all know what type of new hospitals have come up and were coming up, and I thought in a few years I'll be just a small nursing home, and then we thought let me do what I do the best, and that was ophthalmology, and so I started with IQ. Now we need to have some vision and mission when we start this. We wanted to be India's foremost chain of eye hospital in terms of both quality of eye care and number of patients, and we had a mission of delivering the best to our patients by giving the highest level of quality care, exceptional personal care, complete integrity to the patient and his or her needs. Now, why today we say it is an advantage, IQ advantage after completing the journey, which I'll come back to. We have around 35 centers, 80 plus doctors, 700 staff, affordable world-class eye care, because we do whatever in every city we charge according to the rates in the city. We are empaneled with all TPA, CGHS, ECHS, Ayushman, and all these things which are very important for any practice nowadays. And then we have excellence in quality, because we have 90% of our hospitals are NABH accredited or certified. And this is something which we are different with, and we are doing it, and quality care is very important for us. And technology, clinical and surgical expertise, again, that is very important to procure all the latest equipments, IOLs to use them and differentiate from others. The latest machines like the femto cataract, femto LASIK, excimer, like we had just had the Elita Silk last year, phaco machines, retinal machines, all these things, again, you name it and you have it in the organization. That's the reason why the doctors are attracted to these big organizations. Now again, finding a good doctor who use the technology is again a issue, but with so many of these chains coming up and the doctors learning from doing fellowships at various places, they want to go to different new centers and work on themselves. So we started a senior leadership team, which is like this, and we had, now this is very important to form a team. And then we have two verticals. That is, one is the Chief Medical Director, which is me, and under me is the regional and medical directors. Then the clinical in charges are there at every center. Then we have center consultants, OT staff, and optometrists. Now this come under the clinical organization structure. Then we have the IQ management organization structure, which is a CEO, then a CFO, VP HR, AVP operations, then purchase and supply chain head. This is very important. IT head. Now we forget IT is a very important part of any system, so IT head is very important. Quality head, because I said 90% of our hospitals are NABH accredited or certified. Then head optical sales. Optical sales, like Dr. Kudlu pointed out, it's very important part, and every chain is doing their own opticals now. We have a network of 35 centers in Haryana, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and also in international across, that is Nigeria. And we went up to around 48 centers, but we closed 13 centers because they were not either doing good or we were bleeding money, and so that's why. Till date, we have treated 90 lakh patients, OPD seen, and 8 lakh surgeries we have done. Overseas, we got an opportunity to go to Africa in 2017, and we started our flagship center in 2017 in Lagos, and then we started the second one in 2019 in Ilupuju, and the last one was 2022, which was commissioned by President of Nigeria. Now, why this I'm citing? To a country in an Africa, a small country, over the last 6 years, we have managed to save $25 million of Forex for the country, because there every rich patient will go out, get treated outside, and they will definitely use the dollars. So we have stalled the patients there. They come to us, they get treated by us for retina, for cataract, for glaucoma, whatever it is. And so this is, the story there is very good. We have got a 75% growth year on year. Now this is amazing. This is what we see, new hospital in Abuja, Nigeria. No pain without gain. Now this, when you start, you are owner. You know, Dr. Arun will agree with me. Then gradually some angel investors come in, eat up your equity. Then the private equity guys come in, they eat up further equity. Now, growth at times is always not as the same as projected. There is a financial crisis in between because of poor operations and management. Like I said, we reached up to 48 centers and closed 13 to prevent the losses. Balance between the professional and family life, I think the last session someone was talking about it. This is very important. It takes a toll on your family life also at times. Why, when we build these organizations, what all things are very important? Just only seeing the patient is nothing. We all do, we all train for that. But more important is the academic scientific committees we have. Along with that, fund for doctors and the staff is must. Now, we have our own conference like OpthaQuest. What we do, it's a neutral conference organized by IQ every year. We have our annual meetings, we have our clinical in charge meetings where every doctor comes in, and we talk about the future growth, we talk about the targets, we talk about how to keep our patient happy. For the doctors, there are no targets. The targets are with the operation teams. Then there is a skill development. Wherever we go, we give the local people a chance to be trained and come into our organization and take up either the front desk, or to be a PRE, patient relation executives, or to be optometrists and all. This is what we are trying to do. And giving them a training month on month, that is very important. For every person who comes in, there is an induction for 15 days, where again the skill development training is being given, especially the counselors, the optometrists, the OTA, all the trainings are given along with the doctors. We can't even say that doctors are not being trained. Now, social impact, again, without doing certain camps, you know, we need to create a social impact. We need to give it back to the society. So we ensure the delivery of exclusive world-class eye care to smaller, to rural and backward areas of India also. And a huge social and moral responsibility is bestowed upon as doctors. We try to do our bit by catering to 2 lakh patients below poverty line free of cost every year. Now, this again is very important. Now, when you build up this organization, you again aim for getting some recognition and award. These are something what we got it. Best places to work. This was amazing. 3 consecutive years, we were amongst the top 50 best places to work in India. So that is a thing which is done by American, some organization along with Times of India, the Economic Times here. And these were certain awards what we get, just to cite a few. And then you have a recognition also when you are, you know, growing up, you find some recognition in various platforms, you know, like talking here again, I find is very, very proud to be here. Now, this is something what we do, and our journey has come a long way, and this is a small video to show you that. Music. So, thank you very much for a patience hearing, and any questions I am ready for.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I think we'll have a panel discussion in few minutes. Now I'd like to introduce our LDP, the new batch. Dr. Paresh Nichlani is here. Dr. Paresh. Next, I request Dr. Amanjot Kaur to please come on the other side of the mic. Dr. Raghav Preetham Pereka and Dr. Ansuwa Ganguly Kapoor.
Good afternoon to all. On the outset, I would like to thank AIOC LDP team and my state organizing society for giving me this opportunity. I am a second generation ophthalmologist hailing from Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. I have my keen interest for refractive phacosurgeries, and I'm here to learn from all the alumni and my colleagues and implement in this to increase the efficacy of myself and the society as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Paresh. Welcome to LDP. I request Amanjot.
Hello everyone, I am Amanjot Kaur. Originally I am from Punjab, but currently I am working in LV Prasad Eye Institute, Andhra Pradesh as a consultant in cornea, refractive and cataract. I'm happy to be a part of this journey. Thank you so much.
Welcome, welcome Dr. Amanjot. Dr. Raghav Peraka.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Raghav Preetham from Andhra Pradesh, Kurnool. At the outset, I would like to thank AIOC for giving me this opportunity. So I did my cornea cataract refractive fellowship from LV Prasad, Hyderabad, and I just started private practice. So I'm looking forward to learn a lot. I love playing cricket. I used to be a captain and a leader for my cricket team. So I hope the experience helps me lead the hospital as well. Thank you.
Okay, welcome, welcome Dr. Raghav. Dr. Ansua Ganguly Kapoor. Next, can we have on the left side Dr. Abhishek Kumar? Sorry, on the right side. Dr. Pratik Nishant, after that, from Bihar.
Hello everyone, I am Anashwa. I was born and brought up in the city of Joy, followed by my fellowship in RP Center and followed by my residency at RP Center and my fellowship at LV Prasad Eye Institute. Currently, I am heading the LV Prasad Eye Institute Vijayawada for the past 3 years. So I have come to this program with a passion for leadership and also a desire to create a positive impact on my organization and beyond. So looking forward towards a transformational experience with all of you together. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ansua.
Good afternoon to all of you. मैं डॉक्टर अभिषेक कुमार बिहार से एक सुदूर शहर आरा से बिलोंग करता हूँ और इस एलडीपी का सबसे बड़ा पहला पुंज मेरे अंदर आ गया कि मैं लीडर बनने की ओर हूँ. इसके लिए एआरसी एलडीपी का मैं शुक्रगुजार हूँ. ये शुरुआत हो चुकी है मेरे में और होप ये आशा है कि आप सबों के सहयोग से और मेरे अंदर कुछ हम सीखेंगे 1 साल के अंदर में. थैंक यू.
Thank you, Dr. Abhishek. Welcome to LDP. Dr. Pratik Nishant and Dr. Parth Rana. Dr. Gaurav Sharma from Himachal Pradesh. And lastly, Dr. Bibhuti Kashyap from Jharkhand. Dr. Parth from Gujarat.
Yep. Thank you so much for inviting me here in LDP. I am Dr. Parth Rana. I am from Gujarat. I have done my PG from Pondicherry and then I have started my practice in Ahmedabad. I'm basically a second generation ophthalmologist and my father had his 3 centers before I started and then I started my 4 centers in past 5 years. And right now I'm growing more with my new centers and we are going to develop one whole new center, state-of-the-art center in Gujarat also. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Parth. Welcome to the LDP. I think Dr. Gaurav Sharma and Dr. Bibhuti, they are yet to arrive. Okay, thank you. We'll go to the next. Last 2 debates are there. So we have Dr. Ajit Poddar, please. And then Dr. Anshuman Deka. So the 2 debates are, does leadership really matters? Yes or no? I'm more interested to know here why no than yes. So now to Dr. Ajit Poddar. Yes, sir.
So very good afternoon, and I am thankful to ARC, Dr. Prashant Bavankule and Srinivasan sir and everyone for giving me the opportunity. And this is a leadership development program, and there are so many great leaders over here, and speaking against the leadership is a huge task. More so when I have just recently done the
Can we have his presentation, please?
Yes.
Can you put it in a slideshow mode? So, okay. So, let us think in a different way. If we look at the data, in United States alone, the company spends over more than $14 billion annually on the leadership development program. And yet, the Gallup survey says the employee engagement is less than 87%. In one another survey, when most of the soft skills that gets you hired, the leadership and the management is at the bottom of the list. The leadership is the most misleading concept of the modern era. If we use most of the words that we use most very frequently, it loses its own meaning. And until and unless you don't explicitly define what it is and how do you measure it in your organization, how will you say that it matters or not? Bass, who has written a book on the leadership, he has commented on his book that the Joseph Roast, he has discovered 221 definition of leadership by searching that 597 examined research. So there are so many confusion. And in the management school, this is the most research area, but it is yet most fragmented and the disappointing body of research. There are so many styles, there are so many multiple traits, but the authentic leadership is rare to find. And there are so many myths about the leadership. The more you read about the leadership, the more myths there are. Like formulaic myth, there are so many checklists. If you have a certain things, certain traits, then only you are a leadership. It's not true. And then we tend to attribute a lot to the leadership. And so is with the results. But the results, the success of the organization depends more on the context. And this is a shifting dynamics. What used to matter in the 19th century, that is not valid in the 20th century, and it will not be valid in the 21st century. It's a shifting dynamics. And the followers, we often undervalue, underrate, underestimate the followers, and it's the followers who legitimize the leader. If there are no followers, where are the leaders? And the study suggests that organizational success is contextual, often determined by the external factors like the market conditions, the industry trends, the economic factors, more than the leadership. And the leadership is overrated. And it is so overrated, it has been so much glorified. And more so in this social media era, the image is valued over the substance and the illusion over the reality. And it leaves too many creative peoples. The researchers, the scientists, the teachers, the clinicians, they go into the attraction, they get attracted towards the leadership and they lose their own creativity. As Dalai Lama says, this planet needs less leader, but the more peace setters, the restorers, the healers, the researchers, the artists, the teacher. And believe me, all leaders have a blind spots. And what happened to the king? Once there was a monarchy and once the democracy happened, the king becomes irrelevant. And so with the ushering of the digital economy, the evolving technology, the artificial intelligence, the automation, the social media, every human will be now empowered with the individuals, with the knowledge. And there is a cultural shift towards collaboration, the consensus building, the collective intelligence. So even at your workplace, there is an emphasis on the equality and the diversity. Everyone becomes important. And there is a concept of super-led, self-led super team. And that is the team that matters, and it will replace the leadership. And then we should not forget the dark. If there is a bright side, there are so many glory about the leadership, then there is a dark side of the leadership. We often get so much obsessed with the leadership that we miss the team, we miss the context, we miss there are so many things. And then we should not forget the toxic leadership. it's the desire for the power, and, and this competition for the leadership brings a trust, loses the trust in the team. And often there is no going back. Once you are in the leadership position, then you can't go back. There is no demotion. You can't fall back and you again go back to your, you can become a good clinician. So there are so many things. And it will ultimately result in the low morale, the high turnover, the cultural decay, the talent drain, and ultimately the poor performance. I want you to, if there is a, can it?
No commander. Ants don't need a commander to tell them to get started. They work faithfully, be proactive, be honest to yourself, and be industrious. Ants plan ahead, meaning they hustle hard in advance to secure their future. Ants stay positive always, meaning whatever happens in your life right now, it will not last forever. Ants never quit. They only change their approach, meaning learn to embrace struggle and hardship in your life. Be flexible and be like ants who don't quit. Winners are not quitters. Ants always do their best, meaning give your best in everything you do right now. It will always lead you to the greater things.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ajit. In the interest of the time, we've already crossed 5 minutes. Thank you very much.
Yes,
good message. We'll take it a little later. Yes, Dr. Anshuman Deka, who says that leadership, yes, really matters. Over to Dr. Anshuman. Can you load his presentation, please?
So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, AIOS and ARC, for giving me this podium to speak. I think I've spent 1 year in this LDP program, and if you say leadership doesn't matter, I would obviously say no to it. It does matter, and I would like to differ with Dr. Ajit. I believe he has just brought in some negative feedbacks and just highlighted it, and I'll bring in some positive things. So what exactly is leadership? So leadership is about collaboration, inspiring others to do their best work. So it could involve titles like leadership, management, teamwork, strategy, planning. So all these things go to hand in hand. And it is an ability to collaborate with other team members by delegating tasks, leading by example, and making sure that they really feel that you care about them. So leadership is not about in a particular organization. We have seen that it happens among all strata in our society, whether it is in your cricket field, where you have your captain as your leader, who leads all the decisions he takes into the credibility. If he succeed, he will take the failure in his own stride. In case if you go for a hiking, maybe you will need a person who will lead you to the top. And in case if it is a boat race, maybe you will have someone to lead you from the top, show you the way, and subsequently make it successful. So what could be the possible characteristics a good leader should have? So he should be decisive, he should be trustworthy among his colleagues, he should help in empowering people, and clear communication is the key so that the other team members understand what is the requirement. And obviously, teamwork, as we have all mentioned, is a key for being successful in your organization, whether in life or whatever it is. So what is the ideal leadership? It could be a democratic one, where you receive all the inputs from your teammates, you listen to them, and then finally share your opinions and then execute your plans so that it doesn't become a failure. I think it's getting stuck. My presentation, excuse me, it's getting stuck. Okay. So what could be the benefits of the leadership? It could be helpful in bringing about profitability in the organization. It could play an important role in employee motivation, and then also a communicate culture which will connect people each other and help each other to perform well for the organization. So is there a difference between leadership versus management? So leaders and managers have different approaches to approach their goals. So managers could seek compliance or rules and procedures, whereas leaders would thrive on breaking the norm and challenging the status quo. So at times, leaders and managers could have different visions. So leaders are considered to be visionaries, whereas managers are implementers who are just implement whatever they are assigned to. So the managers assure that the goal which has been assigned to by their superiors is being achieved. Also, managers achieve their goals by delegating responsibilities, while leaders would motivate people and envision the team's future. So they also have an important part in analyzing and assessing the situation and further give this thing. So what do leaders do? So leaders are not people who always hold higher ranks in their organization. They are people who are known for their beliefs and work ethics. A leader is passionate about his work, passes on the enthusiasm to his fellow workers, enabling to ensure to achieve their goals. And each leader has a can have a personal leadership brand, which can be carefully cultivated and intuitively perceived by leaders themselves and their followers. So conclude, leadership plays an important role in handling and managing the activities of any organization. Leaders would be more valuable than managers in their overall growth of the organization, and thereby leadership development is must to inculcate the values of being a good leader.
Thank you, Dr. Anshuman. That was again a good debate. And so next speakers, I request them to please take up the dais. Any expert panel, any view on their this thing? But one thing I would like to say, Ajit Podar sir, is there are three types of leadership, broadly defined. What India needs today is not a democratic kind of leadership, neither an autocratic kind of leadership, what you described it as narcissist or the Machiavellian or anything. What India needs today, I think, or the younger generation, what it needs today is the influential kind of leadership. How you can influence on the people and how you can take them forward.
Yes, sure.
Any other views from the expert panel, quickly?
No, actually Dr. Ajit had a very, very difficult topic, but he put it absolutely in context that leaders evolve out of a context.
Yes.
So the context is important, and obviously he is the change agent, so the context is brought around by him.
Yes.
Like Arun Singhvi said that the standards of Tier 2 city eye care is not good. Let us do something about it.
Yes.
So he got people around him. Initially people didn't hear him, maybe his friend only heard him, and then it grouped and shaped and it went forward. So this is how things moved. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Anshuman. We have the last debate of the session. Dr. Jitendra Vidhani, please. And then Dr. Soumya, who wants to go first? Age is a must for leadership. So Jitendra says no age no bar, but Dr. Soumya says age is definitely needed for the leadership.
Okay, so greetings from the land of peace and growth from Gujarat. I'm Dr. Jitendra J. Vidhani, a second generation ophthalmologist from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. And good afternoon, everyone, to all the dignitaries, and thank you, AIOS and ARC, for allowing me this platform to present here today. So, a quick question: do we know all who this is? Well, of course, आप लोग जीतते हैं 1 crore रुपए. This are Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Bhai Damodar Das Modi. Do we all know at which age he started possessing his leadership qualities? So, he was introduced to the RSS at the age of 8. Modi became a full-time worker for the RSS in 1971 at the age of 21. He was assigned to the BJP in 1985 at the age of 35. He became the CM of Gujarat at the age of 51 in 2001, and then he became the PM at the age of 64 in 2014. All I'm trying to say is that if you look at the timeline, he slowly rose to the hierarchy and finally became the Prime Minister of this country. So now, can you just identify for me who this is? One is Dhoni the Great, and second is our legendary Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar. And again, I'll tell you why I'm coming to this. So as we look at the records, Dhoni, as we all know, is the most successful captain in T20 by having 20 wins in 33 matches. He's won all the tournaments, limited over tournaments in major ICC events, be it 2007, 2020 World Cup, be it 2011 ODI World Cup, or 2013 Champions Trophy. Whereas Sachin Tendulkar, when he was made the captain in India in 1996, he just managed to win 23 matches. That was an underwhelming 31.05% in ODIs. Whereas in tests, it dropped down to even 20%. So no one can be perfect in everything, as it is said in the English proverb. But all I'm trying to say is that Sachin, being the younger one who started at the age of 11, both have enormous talent, but there is one who is an inborn leader, whereas the other one who tried to cultivate leadership quality, but he couldn't be there. And we have already heard that talk about it. Let's see this video.
सेंटर हाफ किस लिए हो तुम? क्योंकि टीम की सबसे सीनियर प्लेयर, तुम्हारा काम फॉरवर्ड लाइन के प्लेयर्स को हटाना नहीं, उन्हें खिलाना। एक और बात, हर टीम में सिर्फ एक ही गुंडा हो सकता है, और इस टीम का गुंडा मैं हूं।
So all of you would remember this famous dialogue from the movie Chak De India, as he said that हर एक टीम का गुंडा एक ही हो सकता है, and there can be only one leader in an institution, is what I'm trying to convey through this. And he should know that what all players or what all members need to do what all things. Another video. So this is me doing some of the difficult surgeries at the age of 31, and many of the colleagues at my age, or probably even some senior, would be a little skeptical about doing a phaco in a hard, mature cataract. So again, the emphasis is that the point is that the leadership has nothing to do with age. In fact, the earlier you start, the better. We all know he's the great Dr. Sri Ganesh sir from Bangalore. He started from a one-room setup in 1993 to now having 7 eye hospitals. Our very own Dr. Mahipal Sachdev sir, again, he was there at RP Center till 1996, and after that he started his own hospital, and Center for Sight came into existence at the age of, in the year 2002. And in the end, I would like to just quote a few lines from a poem of Dr. Harivansh Rai Bachchan, who is the father of Sadi ke Mahanayak Shri Amitabh Bachchan, who himself had to face many struggles. नन्ही चींटी जब दाना लेकर चलती है, चढ़ती दीवारों पर 100 बार फिसलती है, मन का विश्वास रगों में साहस भरता है, चढ़कर गिरना गिरकर चढ़ना न अखरता है, आखिर उसकी मेहनत बेकार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. And in the end, who are not inborn leaders like me, you can, obviously get there and, try to get better. मंजिल मिलेगी भटक कर ही सही, गुमराह तो वो लोग हैं जो घर से निकले ही नहीं. This is my time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. Sorry, Jitendra, as we are running a little late. Dr. Soumya, madam, please go ahead. Age is a must for leadership.
Slides. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone, and I thank ARC for this opportunity. Yes, Dr. Vidhani, age is not important, yes, but for an effective leadership, we are seeing the fruits of it now. No, the presentation is purely for the purpose. I do not have any financial, political, or any conflict of interest. There are many definitions, but the second one is the most important. Before you're a leader, success is all about growing yourself. You grow first, and then help grow, and then help the others to grow. There are many interesting facts. We have seen a lot of industries where we see the top C-suite leaders and the CEOs, everyone is above 50 years of age. There are 5 stages of a career, and in the late career where we have already grown as a professional, so then we have the capacity to help others grow and help, or probably the challenges what we have faced, and help them deal with the challenges with an open mind, with an emotional stability. Now, there are 2 important requisites, components of leadership. That is the basic prerequisites and the desirable skills. So when the basic prerequisites, that is the physical, psychological, and the view of life is very good, then only the desirable skills like the task-related competencies, the management, and others grow. Now, why are these mature leaders so successful? Because of this important word, that is the more experience, ready to take on responsibilities, which fosters effective leadership. So as experience increases, you have solutions for difficult problems and level-headed decisions in times of stress, and stable emotions in check, greater maturity, greater perspective, and more stable family life. So you have already had a good family life, you have settled in your profession, settled in your family, so obviously you have time for your profession. Now, what researchers have discovered is, as age matures, or one becomes elder, you have gathered wisdom, which arrives at good judgment, and you start recognizing patterns, and you know how to behave with each. You have a rich data set of experience, so you know how to deal with each patterns. Now, the assets of a mature leader: networking skills, good strategic thinking skills, emotional intelligence, which is more important as age advances, and integrity. So these are the sets of an experienced leader. Now, they also have a very unique skill that they can play many roles, but the unique value is in coaxing the genius out of a young. And because of their experience, they are able to see things in younger leaders they had challenges and they have already overcome. So these are the unique virtues of a mature leader. There are many differences between young and elder leaders. They say that team building spirit, constructive leadership, reliability, work ethics, loyalty, and making strategic choices are the assets of an elder leader. Once Mark Zuckerberg said, yes, they look at faster choices and immediate rewards, but stability does matter. There are many studies that have been done with age and leadership, which they said that the younger leaders have more probably destructive leadership in more in younger, and task-related competencies increases as the age advances. They themselves said that they have less use of developmental leadership behaviors, difficult to build trustful relationships, and not yet develop the interpersonal competencies. This is a classic example in the history. This Tughlaq, who shifted his capital from Delhi to Devagiri within 2 years of his coronation, he never had any idea what happened to the people who were in transit. He just lost a lot of lives, and then he decided that that was not a good decision, and again changed his capital city from Devagiri to Delhi, wherein he had a lot of invasions, a lot of bubonic plague, and a lot of people lost their lives in that. So the ultimate thing is, it's just an advice to all young Vidhanis out here. Concentrate, explore, enjoy life, build up self-confidence, strengthen your position among other co-professionals, enjoy great family life. You can see yourself as a part of a group which you want to lead later in life. Attend programs like LDPs, then you can be a successful leader. This is an example of leaders who have taken our AIOS to a greater extent. And wait till your hair grows out, till you get lines on forehead, till you are bespectacled for clothes, and then be the torch bearer, for you'll make the world and the eye brighter. Thanks a lot for this.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. I'm really sorry because the first session started a little late, so I'm trying to cut down on so that the next session speakers are already waiting here. Without wasting much time, I think we can have the discussion over the lunch about the leadership, whether age is required or not. So I require Dr. Singhvi sir to please honor Dr. Jitendra Vidhani. Thank you, Dr. Jitendra. That was a wonderful talk. And Dr. Chitra Ramurthy madam to please honor Dr. Soumya. I request Debashis sir to please honor the certificate to Dr. Ajit Poddar, and Dr. Sharma sir to please honor Dr. Anshuman Deka. This side. Thank you. I request Dr. Chitra Ramurthy madam to please the certificates to Dr. Debashish Bhattacharya sir, please. Yeah. Dr. Sunny, can you just take a photograph? Asim sir. Dr. Chitra Ramurthy to please present certificates to Dr. Ajay Sharma sir. Thank you so much, all the speakers, the panelists. Thank you very much. That was really a wonderful session. Now I request, thank you sir.